Yo guys, what is good? Welcome back to the Uncle Sharma channel here for a very, very special episode. I got, I'm moving like Marotta and Auxilio. Got my contact list out and I thought, try to get, one of the leading voices for Inter fans out there. Obviously, you guys must know who this guy is. Peter from IFTV. What's up, bro? Peter, joining me from New York. How's it going, bro?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, bro. Not bad. I took some time out of work today, working from home just for you. I've been trying to get you on for a while.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I've
No,
it's hard with the time difference and then just trying to make everything fit. But I said, listen, I owe you one. I got to get on. So let's figure out a time that can work, and we got it. We did it. So that's
no.
most
I
important.
appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that. Hopefully, my manager's not watching this. But yeah, who we got? We already got 11 people in the house. Peter penalty, so obviously some people
Yeah.
know you. We got Bjorn,
Uh,
we got Danu who says Uncle Shama with Johnny Sins. Ooh, okay. But
now you
anyway,
know my,
bro.
my secret identity.
Yeah. You probably get those memes, right?
Well, it's a generic, bald head, beard look, so it works a lot.
The Pepe Reina, the Boja Valero.
Oh yeah, all of them. Zaza, when Zaza was relevant,
Yeah.
that was one. And then he missed that penalty. I didn't even want to be mentioned the same category as Zaza. So
Yeah, let's not even talk about Simone. Actually, let's start with one quick question. This is one I wanted to ask you about. Like Antonio, is he like this on from IFTV? Is he like this all the time, like off the camera as well?
yeah, he actually is. Believe it or not, it's not an act. He'll go on these rants and he'll voice his opinion. But I read the question, how do you keep calm? I mean, when you love somebody, Antonio's a great guy, so it's all in good fun, right? So even though we support different teams, we can argue, we can break each other's chops, and it's all in good love afterwards. We're playing foosball now. We have the foosball table,
Yeah.
and it's just fun. So
Yeah, no, it does look like loads of fun, like what you guys have. It just feels like, a group of friends who are just, talking like what the same conversation you'd be having in like a bar or, with your friends and stuff. So that's what it feels like. That's why a lot of times I'm confused when people get, really mad at you guys for having some of the topics or the conversations. It's like, it's just these guys, they're not professionals out there. They're just people sharing their thoughts and opinions. And I feel like you are definitely one of the more kind of knowledgeable ones out in the IFTV group, if you don't mind me saying.
appreciate it. Yeah, we try to have a little fun. I think it's important to have the right mix, where it's informative and you're telling the people, what you see and how the soccer game, football game develops in Serie A especially. And then you also have to have a little banter, a little fun with it. And you hit it on the money. It's like going to the bar, and we got the coffee now. We have the espresso machine, so it's even better. We'll have a espresso machine, get some coffee, and we can discuss and have fun.
Nice, yeah. No, looking, yeah. I always tune in. I'm a regular watcher of you guys, and yeah. Let's just kick it off, bro. As Interisti, we've been going through 11 years of suffering. Banter era was, rife for many years. Now it looks like the good times are coming back. Antonio Conte is bringing the good times back. Everyone was making fun of his salary, the players that we brought in, the Man United rejects, but everything is falling into place, and the Scudetto looks like is within arm's reach. And this match against Napoli could be another step towards that Scudetto. 11 wins in a row, bro. Can Inter make it 12 wins against Gattuso's boys? What do you think?
Listen, I said also on the podcast, I said that there's a total change of mentality. I think that within these 11 games, we haven't been playing our best football, but we've been able to win. Defensively, we're very strong, we're sound, and you can understand that Inter are kind of feeling out the games, if you want to say, where they can maybe turn it on and off. And when you have that power and that ability, you're a solid squad. So that being said, I think this Inter team can converse anybody and not be afraid. And that's what we want, right? We know in football, you can't win every game. It's impossible. There's going to be games where you're going to slump, and there's going to be games when You just don't have the best, or someone else has a better of you. This Napoli team, they got a lot of their injuries guys back. So, it's going to be a fun game. And even if you remember the first game, Napoli outplayed us, but we
Yeah.
were able to win. We were able to, grit it out and kind of Conte style, right?
Yeah.
And, even that, like a lot of Inter fans, we're a little frustrated in the way that we play, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we're like, why are we sitting back? Because even versus Sassuolo, we can play with these guys. We can be able to take it to them. But listen, we beggars can be choosers, and we have to win the Scudetto. So if this is the way that we have to win the Scudetto, so be it. And then next year we'll be able to figure out the rest.
Yeah. No, spot on, bro. Let me just share my screen and we can put up the predicted lineups. You might not be able to see, so I'll just say them out loud. We know what the back line is going to be now. Handanovic, Bastoni, Skriniar, De Vrij. That's the quartet that we that's really the core of this team. We know without those guys, we're in trouble without any of those three guys. Even though Darmian did a great job against Sassuolo to come in for Bastoni, probably even better than what a job Kolarov would do. Yeah, Darmian, he's according to Sport Media set here, he's touted to be starting at left wing back ahead of Ashley Young and Hakimi to come back into the starting 11. What do you make of that, bro? I feel like Darmian deserves to start again. He's been in good form. He's showing that he deserves to be, in this team now. What do you make of Darmian as a signing at the beginning, and what do you make of him now?
Yeah, Darmian in the beginning, I think as a signing was a solid signing for what he was supposed to be. He was supposed to be a bench player, jolly player that can play right wing back, left wing back into the center back position, and he's proving that he's been able to play. Even when we were in Champions League, he scored the goal. Then obviously versus Cagliari this weekend, he scored the goal, comes in and he scores the goal. So it's important that. I'm sorry, he didn't come in. He was playing on the other side, and he moved to the left, and then he scores a goal. So he's so versatile, and I think he's a player that does his job, right? We don't have we have Hakimi, who is, I'm in love with Hakimi, what he's able to do, and his speed. It's a joy to watch, and he puts in the crosses, and he's still very young. But Darmian can come into a game and can do his job, and that's what we need. Unfortunately, Perisic got injured when he was with Croatia. Perisic, I don't know how to explain. I have a love-hate relationship with him because, especially on the left back, I know he's playing out of position on the left. He would put poor quality balls, but then these last 5 or so games when he was playing, he was amazing. He all of a sudden he completely changed, and I think he gave us probably the best option at that left wing back position. Ashley Young, for me is, just a hardworking guy by all means, but he's not your number. He shouldn't be in your starting 11. That's my opinion. But he, rightfully so. He's part of this. The team isn't just the 11. It's the full squad. So they've all of Inter have stepped up. All the players on Inter stepped up, and we see how it looks.
Yeah, and the report saying that Perisic took part in training today, actually, with the team. Would you risk Perisic just to make him come back, or would you rather start, a Darmian or Ashley Young?
Yeah, I mean, I think coming back from injury, it'd be smart to keep him on the bench, especially in a game like this. Because besides just physically, also mentally, you're not prepared to jump in and start right away. So I think Darmian can play. Even Ashley Young can play in that position, and then Conte will make his decision if Perisic comes into play this game, especially versus Napoli. You need somebody that's on top, that's ready.
Yeah. No, yeah, spot on. Yeah, I've been everyone on this channel knows, like I've been pushing for Perisic to be given, at the beginning of the season, even when he was struggling, I was like, make him play, a few games in a row, and you'll see, it start to improve. So I was happy to see, Perisic finally get into grips with that role. And as you said, it is a love-hate relationship with that guy. You never There was, in the past he put in a transfer request. It was January, but Spalletti didn't want to let him leave. And we probably could have got like 40 something million from him a few years ago from Man United when Mourinho wanted him. Never really worked out. And then Bayern were cheapskates last year, when even though they won the treble and he was, an important player for them, they couldn't shell out the 15 million or the option was to buy for. It felt like, it was his time at Inter came to an end, but he deserves a lot of credit for, being humble and just, reinventing himself as that left wing back under Conte. And he's become definitely, the starting left wing back when he's fully fit. But as you said, rather play someone that's already to be fit, 100% fit like Darmian. So I hope to see Darmian starting. And the midfield, Barella, I think they've got their positioning's a bit wrong here. Eriksen's probably going to play left centre mid and Barella right centre mid as usual. I didn't feel like we missed Barella in the last match against Cagliari. What did you make of it? I felt like we did. I really like that midfield, that technical midget midfield, Brozovic, Sensi, Eriksen. What did you make of it?
I thought Sensi was amazing. Sensi, when he's healthy, we know the quality player that he is. It's unfortunate that he gets all these injuries, but he played in 2 games with Italy, the national team, and then got his chance for Cagliari. Obviously, Barella was suspended, but listen, versus a Cagliari, I think you can afford not having a Barella. Versus a Napoli, you need that aggressiveness. You need Barella, who's always in the right position, that does, he gives 110%, great technical ability, but also a workhorse. So like he literally has like 4 lungs. The guy is up and down the pitch and is so important. But what was great, I think this year, what was great about this Inter squad was Conte figured out that you could actually win games and have quality midfielders. Like Eriksen, Brozovic, and Sensi works. Eriksen, Brozovic, and Barella works. I think he always has these tendencies that he needs a more defensive player in there, or defensive-minded midfielder. And you saw when we kind of struggled moving forward. Eriksen comes in, and it's been a whole nother situation. And at our best times, like we play, I think better than anyone else. Like moving the ball. We can move from the back. Even our defenders, De Vrij, Skriniar, Bastoni, they're name a better center back, with feet like them. It's just it's great to see, and Inter can play in that different way. They can play attack minded, they can play defensively on the counter attack, and that's what you need. You need a team that's able to be different.
Yeah, I don't know. You guys talked about it in your last podcast, but it's like it's a pretty big topic at the moment, isn't it? That Inter style of play. Do they play bad? Do they play ugly football? And to me, like it was it's just funny to hear, because especially from the Italian mentalities, like this is the type of football that Italians have been playing all along. So I don't see where the issue is. I enjoy a good defensive performance. I enjoy what Inter have been doing recently, making sure teams can't even get Handanovic. I can't even remember a save Handanovic had to make in the last 2 or 3 matches. So like what do you make of this whole terrible Conte ball that is ugly, it's not good to watch? Like, what do you make of this whole situation?
Yeah, I think Grande Mourinho used to say intellectual prostitution, right?
Right.
And that's what it is. It's really, when Juventus won the same exact way, nobody said anything. Like it was okay, it was fine. They're winning. That's all that counts. And in Italy, it's always been this way. Where as long as you win, doesn't matter how you play, you win, and you're the champion at the end of the season. Congrats to you. So, Conte has even said it in his last press conferences. He's like, listen, we can play great football like we've done, in Champions League. We moved the ball and we were on the attacking side. But right now I have a job, and my job is to win the Scudetto. And I'm going to play this way because this is the way I know we can win. And I trust my players to win this way. So, I think it's just a lot of other fans that are saying, "Oh, look how they're playing. It's so embarrassing," and so on and so forth. Please, man, please, because you guys can break down the defense, and then even Inter on the counter is scary. When you have Hakimi and Lukaku running at you full force, and Lautaro also has been amazing the second half of the season. Inter's a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, some of those transitions as well on the counter attack, they're so good to watch,
Mm-hmm.
and and they take a lot of passes. I think it's because how quickly Inter move from defense to forward. People think it's a counter attack, but usually there's about 10, 15 passes between Handanovic and Bastoni and Skriniar first, and then all of a sudden there's this acceleration and that ball to Lukaku, and then everything just comes from that. So I love watching this type of football.
Yeah,
But at the same,
that's Conte style.
yeah, that's Conte ball. That's those
Get a ball, quick flick, touch it, and go.
He's scary, and all those little those schemes that they do. You've seen them over the years. They've not really changed. You saw the same stuff for the Italy national team. It was a long ball to Pelle, they're flicking onto it. Chelsea as well. Hazard, Morata, Willian. The very similar patterns that he's been doing his whole career. So this is nothing new. This is the thing that annoys me. It's like people are talking about this as if he's doing something different. He's been always doing something like this. So, but at the same time, the other day I was watching Bayern PSG, and what a match that was in terms of intensity, the level of technical ability on display. Without some of the key players in both teams, Lewandowski was missing, Marquinhos, Verratti was missing. But still, the way those two teams played. And the thing I noticed was complete silence from the managers on the sideline. Like Pochettino and Flick, I didn't hear one word because I watched it in the stadium commentary. So there was like no commentary, only stadium noise. And I heard nothing from Pochettino and Flick. And I was imagining it was like, if this was Inter and this was Conte, we'd be hearing Conte, Christian, sí, Christian, dai Christian, bravo. And like, it's such a contrasting style of management. So do you think that has a play in terms of some of these players? Like, I feel like some of these Inter players probably get fed up of Conte telling them what to do all the time. Like, do you think he probably needs to give some players a bit of freedom, especially when we go to Europe?
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's so many, the sport is a subjective sport. There's so many different ways to play it. You have coaches that are quiet and timid, and, maybe in the locker room, they'll do the discussion. And you have Conte who's, he's the traffic cop, bringing everybody where they're supposed to be. So it depends on the relationship between the player and the coach in the end. Conte doesn't have a track record of staying very long on the teams that he's coached, but he's been able to create, I think, a fantastic relationship with a lot of the players. And I think as long as you know where it's coming from, then you're okay with the constant reminders and stuff. But let's not forget that Conte, historically has made a lot of average players a lot better than what they've been. So is that him being able to get these guys pumped for a game, or even being on attention during the game because he's constantly yelling at you and telling you where to be. That could be, he's barking orders. That could be the case. But going to your question as far as Europe and being more free, I mean, I think even in Europe, the last group stage, we played good football. I think we beat ourselves up on the mental aspect where we weren't able to, versus the two games were Shakhtar, we weren't able to adapt, and that was a big problem because when you're stuck in one way, the team is going to read you, and we missed chances. Versus Mönchengladbach, we gave up that penalty. It was a stupid mistake, and then like everything kind of fell down. And at the same time, versus Real Madrid, Hakimi's back pass, the mistakes, and like just mentally, we weren't there. And I said it also in one of the last podcasts. I said, this Inter team now is a completely different Inter team from the beginning of the year. And I think next year, moving forward in Champions League, we have to prove that, because every year is different. But the mentality of this Inter team is amazing. And I think you add another two players there, can be very, very scary for a lot of teams.
Yeah. Why do you make, like, I've been asking this question to a few people. Why do you think Conte tried to experiment this 3-4-1-2 high line, high pressing at the start of the season. Like, we didn't have a proper pre-season, so I felt like the timing probably wasn't right for Conte to try this. Bastoni was missing at the start, Skriniar was missing with COVID. Like, we had a few issues, and he tried to push this new style of play. Like, why do you think he was trying to do that? Do you think that was his way of trying to, be a more European style?
Yeah, I think he realized that in Europe you have to kind of go for it. You have to go attack the other team because in Serie A you might get away with something, but in Champions League in Europe, um, these players, even if they're playing poorly, they just need that one chance. If they get that one chance, they can make something happen. Where because they're just better players. So at that point, you have to prove that you can play better than them, and you have to play in a certain way. He experimented that 3-4-1-2 this season, but he also did last season. That didn't work, remember? Because once we signed Ericsson, we were trying to try these new things, and that's where we kind of fell off. But that being said, I think this Inter team is adaptable. He's focused on that 3-man back, but I think he could also change that if he really wanted to. But it's working, so there's no reason to change anything.
Yeah. Let me just share my screen with you again so we can go through the team again. So I don't know why if they put Sanchez and Martinez here up front, because obviously it's going to be Lukaku and Lautaro up front. Are you happy pretty much with that lineup? The usual lineup with Barella coming back in there, and we'll know between Darmian and Young on the left. You happy with that lineup? Would you make any changes there?
No, I'm happy. I think Sensi had a good showing for Scaldi, and he can come into the second half and kind of change the game also if needed. So I think it's the lineup that has won, so many games, and it's good for Napoli.
Yeah, and then looking at Napoli, someone commented the left-hand side will be key because Mario Rui, we all know he's kind of the weak point of that team defensively, especially. So that one would be interesting to see if Hakimi coming back, trying to prove, he was on the bench for one game, maybe trying to prove a point to try to target Mario Rui a little bit. But who's the man to watch out for you in this Napoli team? Insigne obviously is having the season of his life. I think he's gone a bit under the radar. He's got 15 goals this season, which is the most he's ever had in the Serie A. Zielinski is finally becoming, a productive midfielder. He's always been talented, but he's always, goes for the nutmegs or the nice goals. But this season he's got 6 goals, 7 assists. Politano as well. I think he's got more than 10 goals this season. Another underrated season. Who's the player to watch out for you from this Napoli team?
Yeah, I think it has to be Insigne. As the captain of this team, it's going to be very important for him to set the tone. And I agree with you. I think Napoli has had a very underrated season. Even the Napoli fans, because of all the confusion between De Laurentiis, Gattuso in or out, blah, 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 blah. Everyone's got kind of caught off guard. Meanwhile, they're right there for the Champions League spot, and I think anybody would imagine they would have been, one of those last, let's say, third, fourth, fifth place teams. They weren't going to compete for the Scudetto. Insigne is going to have a tough job because it's all going to depend on Hakimi. If Hakimi pushes up and puts pressure on Mario Rui, it's going to force Insigne to drop back a little bit more. And that also the added effort to drop back and cover space and double team Hakimi might make him a little tired going forward. The other end, Politano, he's very crafty. We know him. Inter fans know him. It's unfortunate that it doesn't fit Conte's style, but he's definitely going to play with a chip on his shoulder and someone to watch out for. Osimhen, I think our defensive line, they're strong, man. They are good with these bigger strikers and can be able to contain him. And then the midfield, Fabian Ruiz, Fabian Ruiz, I always love. Zielinski, I agree with you. Like, he's technically fantastic. Sometimes he gets in and out of games, but this is a game that Napoli need to win to maintain that fourth place hopes. And at the same time, Inter can kind of prepare for this game and not have to go all out. So that's going to be interesting to see, what Conte does. I think, quite honestly, I think he's going to sit back like he's been doing. We're going to score, and then we'll be able to control the match. But at the same time, it's interesting to see what happens if Napoli go out and score first. Now all of a sudden you have to change approach.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm expecting a match of sitting back a little bit, but hopefully not as deep as we've been doing in a few matches, because Napoli, I think they've got the quality to punish you. It's not, like Sassuolo, who were missing a lot of players, so they really couldn't punish you. But if you do that to Napoli, remember last time Insigne got himself stupidly sent off that time. I think it could have been trouble if Insigne stayed on in that match. Mertens is back as well. Mertens got injured in that Inter match, and he's been missing for Napoli for a long time since that match. So people forget that with this Napoli team, they've had a lot of injury issues. So I think probably Mertens might start instead of Zielinski. I've heard he's a doubt. So it's a strong Napoli lineup, and obviously they're pushing for that top 4 spot. As we said, they're only a few points behind Atalanta and Juventus. So definitely not a match to underestimate. What are we going for this in terms of match prediction, bro?
Match prediction. Am I the fan that's talking, or the football pundit? That's the interesting part, because
do both.
Yeah, I think as a fan, I want to see Inter win 2-1. What I'm thinking is a 1-1. I think that Gattuso does stop the win streak. I think the point is vital for Inter. The most important thing is just not losing. And yeah, that's what I think. I think they'll go out for a tie. They'll get a tie. But I think if Inter is able to score first and control the tempo of the match, I guess, because they're gonna just sit back and be able to keep Napoli at bay, Inter should have a good, definitely not easy way to win, but can have a good chances to win.
Yeah. I think honestly, I think this might be the end of the streak. Not a loss, but I think we might draw. I think a 1-1 draw, as you said, the pundit answer. I think it has to end at some point. The streak, is difficult, especially it will be difficult to keep these guys going. Once in their mind, they probably it's hard to not think that okay, we've already got the Scudetto in the bag, really. But it'll be difficult for Conte to keep pushing these guys, every single match to pull 100%, because as closer we get to the end of the season, the more these guys will probably start to slack off a little bit. I think it's just human nature. So I'm going for 1-0. I've seen people saying 2-0 Inter, quite positive. Everyone in the comments. Let's see how it plays out, and we'll just finish off with a couple of. If anyone's got a few little question for Peter before we end this, because he could only give me half an hour, so we're coming up to the half an hour now.
I'll give you more another time. All right.
Yeah, we'll make you a regular now.
Yeah.
We've got a question here from regular Parmeshwar, from India, who says Peter's Inter player of the season so far.
Listen, I want to say it's a mix between Lukaku and Barella. I know it's easy to pick, but I think Lukaku for me has just been amazing. So many times he's been able to get us out of certain games. I think when he plays, the Inter system, the Conte system works. Times when he was out, it was very, very difficult to watch, and they weren't secure. Going to what he did in the derby, it was just class, man. He showed who's the real king of Milano. So I have to give it to Lukaku. And a lot of people 2 years ago were complaining, "Oh man, this guy is terrible touch. He did it in the Premier League, or he did it when he was with Everton. He hasn't been good in a long time, yada yada yada." But he's been able to come into Serie A, which a lot of people can't say, and score the goals that he scored last year, and then keep it up this year. And I think he's even done a better job than last year. So I have to give it to Lukaku.
Yeah, I agree. I'm leaning towards Lukaku for the moment. We've still got 8-9 games left, but for me still at the moment is Lukaku. And this one's an interesting one. I wanted to ask you actually. Sorry, not this one. This one here. What do you make of the new logo and the fourth kit?
Yeah, it's listen, the new logo, unfortunately, it has to happen. It's just the tell of times. Everything is going to a more modern approach. I think for, let's say, our generation of Inter fans, we've only seen one real type of logo or design. Let's say they've changed it and modified it a little bit, but it's always been that signature, monogram with the CFM, IMCF, whatever, Inter Milan
Yeah.
Football Club. But in years past, they've changed it between the snake, Inter changed different logos. So it is what it is. I think as a big change, it wasn't that drastic that I say, oh my God, this is disgusting, this is terrible, and I can't support it. No matter what, it's Inter. I like to play what they're trying to do. Marketing side, I am, and play off that. I am Milano, I am power, I am strong, whatever. So that was great. And then the fourth kit, yeah, it's cool, man. Whatever. It's for those Generation Z, right? I think Inter have done a great job in appealing to the Generation Z, with whether it be with FIFA or with TikTok and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's the fourth kit. I mean, it's not supposed to be a traditional kit. If that was gonna be the new home jersey, then I would have a problem with it. But it's just an added jersey to the collection, and maybe be a nice piece to have in collections of integers. I'm sure you have, and I know I have. So it is what it is. It's better than the Sprite one. You remember the Sprite green, blue, and
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't know. I don't know actually. That one grew on me over
grew
the
on
years.
you see?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it always happens every time you see it. You see the concept, and then you like, and then you see it like when you see like Lautaro or Lukaku wearing, you're like, oh, okay, that looks nice. I can see myself wearing that. And then last one. This is a very difficult one, Pete.
let's hear it.
Would you rather see Inter win the treble or Italy win the World Cup next year?
Oh man, that is rough. That is rough. Don't put me in this position. Who's Ahmad? Ahmad, man.
Yeah.
Killing me, man. You're killing me. Shit. Like winning the World Cup is just beautiful. Because like everybody's your friends, your family, everyone's supporting one team. And the banter is always beautiful, right? That's what keeps the Inter, Juventus, Milan fans. I have friends that are fans of every team, and like we could always break each other's chops and stuff. But when you all support one movement during 1 month, it's just unbelievable. And I've been in Italy for like some of the Euros. I've been here for the World Cup, 2006 World Cup, and in my neighborhood in Brooklyn, at a time it was like Little Italy. Legit, everybody was Italian. So we actually closed a whole avenue, a whole street from like so it was on 18th Avenue, and we closed from 86th Street to 65th Street, which is 20 blocks. And they closed all for the car traffic, and we had a parade when Italy won in 2006. So imagine celebration for Italy in America. But going to Ahmad's question, sorry to run it around.
Yeah.
Man, this is an Inter podcast, right? I want to see Inter win the treble, but if Italy wins another World Cup, we tie with Brazil, and it's just a crazy celebration. So I have to say that the World Cup is a dream for everyone.
Yeah. Nah, there's levels to the game. The World Cup is definitely the peak, I think, the pinnacle of football. But yeah, Peter, man, thank you very much for coming on, man. You gave me 33 minutes or more, 3 more minutes than you intended to. I appreciate that a lot. And anything to plug, bro?
I gotta give a shout out to a friend of mine, Vinny Russo, great Inter fan, and we always have talks. After he watches some of the podcasts, he's like, "What's going on, man? What's Antonio's crazy and stuff like that." But obviously, thank you to you, to your fans that are listening, and to the IFTV community. Football is a beautiful sport. I can't wait for us to get back into stadiums, because it's important that we're able to continue in our love for the game. And it teaches, football taught a lot of life lessons for me, and I hope that it will continue to live on and be able to do that for younger generations, new generations. So
beautiful words to close that off, guys. Make sure everyone's left a thumbs up and subscribed if you're new to the channel. If you're coming from the IFTV tweet, make sure to check out my channel, always bringing interrelated content. And thank you everyone for that tuned in. Thank you to Peter once again for coming and joining me. and we'll see on Sunday night what happens with the result. And yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in, and Forza Inter.